Welcome to the Tearing It Up podcast. I'm your host, Taryn. We'll be tearing it up, tearing it down, and tearing it apart, dissecting all things related to those who deviate from the standard. From leaders of their industry to leaders of mediocrity, and maybe a gear review or two thrown in. We shoot the shit and let the conversations flow, so if that's not your style, this may not be for you. Otherwise, listen in. Hope to light a fire in you somehow. All right, everybody. Welcome back to another week. I've got something different for you today. Something that I have been thinking about doing for quite a long time, and I just haven't had really, the nerve to do it because I personally do prefer a conversation when I listen to a podcast, not just a monologue, meaning I like there to be two people talking to each other rather than listening to just one person talk about a subject. And because that's what I prefer, I think that other people prefer it. Also, the things that I prefer to listen to or consume, I generally like to create more of. So, I guess it's just been hard to talk by myself, to convince myself to do it. Is anyone going to want to listen? Do I actually want to talk to myself? I mean, I write stuff down. I love writing and whatnot, but there's a few things, I want to get out to you guys, and I have a hard time sometimes finding the right time really to say that in a podcast with somebody else. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to give it a fucking shot. I'm going to do a solo episode so that I can get some of these thoughts, updates, messages out to you guys without feeling like it ruins the flow of any other conversation or whatnot. So it'll probably be a pretty quick episode. As you all know, we say that often, and then it ends up being the typical 45 minutes to an hour. But I honestly don't think I can talk alone for that long. I mean, I know I could, but just to save you, I won't, and I'll be pretty quick to it. So basically, today I'm going to give you guys some updates on just the podcast, things I'm doing. I do try to do that regularly, especially when we have a Taryn and Amber, a TNA conversation. We give some updates. The last couple, we've had some topics that we've stayed on, so we haven't really gotten too much into the update world. But it is easier sometimes to listen to updates than to read them. I know personally, when I'm scrolling social media, I don't always have the attention span to read a long caption, even though I tend to write them. So I guess I completely just contradicted myself in what I said. I love to write long captions. I do not love to read them. So hopefully that means you out there do love a solo podcast episode. Anyways, so a couple of these updates are: we are on YouTube. I've never been much of a YouTuber. I don't know if some of you guys are out there. I know my boyfriend Andrew is. He scrolls through YouTube, watches videos, all sorts of videos, surfing, skating, snowmobiling, all sorts of stuff, comedy. I am not much of a video person in general. I don't consume a lot of video other than trashy reality TV, but it's been something that I've put off for a while, and that's not even the correct term to say put off, because I just simply didn't want to do it. I didn't want to put up our videos on YouTube because 99.9% of them are on Zoom or Riverside, what we're using now. They're on a virtual platform. So me, Amber, the guests, were more often not in the same place physically. So I didn't want videos of just two talking heads chatting it up. Why wouldn't you just want to listen to that? Why do you want to sit there and watch that? Nobody does, in my opinion. And I just didn't want to put out content that wasn't going to get any kind of engagement or help us in any way. So it's just why would I do this? Everyone's pushing video down the throats of podcasters and of every content creator, saying how it's number one, yada, yada, yada. It's just another stressor. But anyways, we have the video. Everything records when we record, the video and sound. So I was fuck it. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to give this a try, because after listening to another podcast, I'm basically talking about YouTube being its own kind of search engine and bringing up the topic that there's a lot of people out there who just put YouTube on like their smart TV or something and let it run. They listen to podcasts that way because maybe there's still so many people working from home these days, working remotely. I'm one of them. So that's a very real possibility that they put this up on YouTube on their TV and they're just listening to it, not actually watching the video. YouTube also does have a special like podcast or audio app. So the podcast is there now too. But like I said, I just said, screw it. I'm going to put the videos up there and see what happens because I'm just in a point where I'm trying to do everything possible to grow the show. So is this the right method? I have no idea. But we'll see, we'll see if it works. And again, the biggest worry is that people will kind of click away because they're not that engaging of videos, just watching 2 or 3 people talk over a Zoom call. And I hope that doesn't work against us in this all, but I just felt like I had to give it a shot. I just kind of got tired of listening to other people and having them tell me what I should or shouldn't do, like, this has to be perfect before you put it out. While on the other hand, everyone's always like, no, it doesn't have to be perfect. Don't wait for it to be perfect. Just do it and get the ball rolling. It's a constant, like, this person said this person said this. What do I do? You never know. Even with our nutrition, with workouts, with everything, you hear one thing one day and something totally opposite the other day. What it comes down to a lot of the time is you have to figure out what works best for you. I love to listen to other people. I love to hear their experiences. But in the end, I got to do what's right for me and give things a shot because we're all just throwing fucking spaghetti at the wall right now and seeing what sticks. This might stick for me. It might not. It might stick for you. It might not. Who freaking knows? We just have to try it. But so I listen to plenty of people who like I look up to and they have done things in spaces that I hope to do someday or hope to be there, but they tell me one thing and then they themselves turn around and do that exact thing they told me not to do. So I was just like, what am I doing? Why am I just listening to them? Like, it's one thing to listen to hear, okay, great, I value your feedback and appreciate that view of things, but take everything with a grain of salt. You don't have to do it or not do it just because someone said you shouldn't, unless it's actually something that's going to put you in harm. Like, don't go pet the bison, just don't do it. But yeah, so all this to say, we are on YouTube. I actually just kind of converted, not kind of, I did convert my TKO yoga and fitness channel to Tearing It Up Pod. I tried to name it just Tearing It Up because basically what I've been trying to do for the last year or so is morph these 2 entities that are both mine into one, under one umbrella, combine all the things I love to consolidate a little bit, to not have to be on 500 platforms under this business and 500 under this business. It is all me. It is all the things I love, all things that I deeply care about. So I just wanted to try to simplify things and simplify it for all of you out there. Do you want the fitness content from me? Do you want the podcast? Whatever it is that you want from me, I want it to be under one umbrella. Tearing It Up was taken on YouTube, so I did have to throw in Tearing It Up Pod. But I have kept my old fitness videos up on there. There's like some yoga classes, some yoga sculpt on there, some of my 45-minute like HIIT classes, all of those things that I was doing during 2020 when the gym closed. I just decided to keep it up there and hopefully get inspired to make some new videos again too, just for fun. And to have for you guys out there who still like to do some workouts online. I know I love being in the gym again now that it's open, which is also why I stepped away from putting that content on the internet. Is once gyms opened, a lot of people wanted to be back there. I want to be back there, but I also know there's times in our lives that it's not possible. It doesn't work out for our schedule or budget, anything. So it's nice to have the option to do something online. So I want to be able to give that to people when or if they want it. So the podcast or the YouTube channel, rather, like I said, it's gonna morph those two things together. You're gonna see the podcast episodes, the podcast videos, some shorts, some gear reviews, and some fitness content. So if you're a YouTuber, go over there and please subscribe. So there will be some call to actions for you all on this little solo pod. That is one of them. Even if you aren't a huge YouTuber, I know a lot of us have accounts anyways, because you have to freaking make an account for anything whenever you just try to watch one video or something. So whether you're on there every day or not, next time you're on there, please just look up the channel and give it a subscribe, because I've preached this as much as possible, but again, we all know you have to say it 10,000 times to get anything to stick. That subscribing and following, whether that's through the podcast apps, on the social medias, whatever, that is the easiest way to help support this little production here. Sharing it is also free and easy. And I don't have a product to sell you guys right now. Will I create fitness product to sell sometime? Maybe. But right now I don't, and it's not like top of mind right now. I want to create the content that's valuable for you. So this is the way that you can help me, is subscribing, sharing, following, all those things, leaving reviews on any of that, commenting. It's been interesting. I feel that I am at the age, as are a lot of my friends, who are over social media. Just like, okay, it was cool and fun while it lasted, but let's move on and just live our lives through the lens of our own eyeballs, not through our cameras. We want to be disconnected from our phones. We are tired of being tethered to them because we went through the journey of having fun with it on social media with our friends, having a new Facebook album for every night out in our 20s, to then going through the transition of getting jobs and having our email attached to our phone, and every kind of other app, Slack, all these different messaging things that our boss can ping us at any time, and you don't feel like you can disconnect. I feel like I can't just get away from it sometimes, and on a day off, getting a message from a coworker or something is like, "Oh my god," like, "No, just leave me alone," and you can't do that without just burying your phone in the backyard or something. So I think we're in an interesting state, like I said, we've gotten enough. We'll still scroll sometimes, but or maybe a lot of the time, but our engagement looks a lot different. I want to be a part of that, but it's also in that very hard place of, again, trying to run a business, especially one that's pretty solely content creation, I guess. I'm figuring out. I'm like admittedly saying against my will. I have to be involved, and I need you to be involved. And it's really hard to beg for people to comment on social media posts, share stories, yada yada yada. So said, whenever you do come across something simple, like a simple comment an emoji, anything like that, those help so very much, guys. Now, I want to quit asking you for things. This is not what this podcast is all about. I promise I will try to give you some value adds here at the end. Also, I want to tell you about what else is coming up, the Outdoor Media Summit. Now, before you click pause or skip or whatever now, because if you've been following along, you know I have been fundraising to go to the Outdoor Media Summit. I am not here today to ask you to donate to that. I have an important message with this. I brought it up last week in the podcast, but I did not reach my ultimate goal of $1,500, because once I reached the $1,000 goal, which provided or covered the ticket cost and the lodging cost, I took a big step back. I got busy and then went to Washington for a wedding, and I I just got tired, honestly, too, of asking people for money. I was so proud, and I thank you so much for everyone who donated to reach that goal. I felt like, wow, how can I keep asking for more? I never ever ever thought I'd even make it to $500. So I made it to $1,000, and I just thought, I can't ask for any more from you, and I can't tell you all how much I appreciate what you did give to get me to this point. On top of that, Hurricane Helene happened, and there was just no way that I felt it was right for me to ask for more money to do something that ultimately is something I want to do, and I will get lots and lots of value from it. I am looking at it as a work thing, but I don't have to go. I want to go. And like I said, it will provide me so, so, so much value. But right now, I mean, always, but right now especially, there are people in dire need of the simple things in life, of water, of food, clothing, housing. So I couldn't bring myself to ask you to donate just $5 or $10 so I can go do something while ultimately my life is great right now. I have a roof, I have food, I have water, I have my family, I have my friends. Um, I couldn't take away from what these people on the East Coast need. So what I am here to ask you for is that if you do have $5 or $10, please consider donating to some of these organizations that are providing relief from Hurricane Helene. I don't have a strong connection to North Carolina, or any of these other places on the East Coast really at all that were hit. I don't have like friends or family there. I haven't spent any time there. So I have been trying to figure out how I can like share this. Like, yes, it's authentic for sure. I want to help these people, but I don't know the area or the organizations well enough to say exactly where you should donate. I am researching it, and I am using information from other people who I know have a stronger connection there, like Jen Cates, who was on the podcast, who has her own podcast called Make Shift Happen. Um, Oh my God, did I say that right? I'll double check. I can't believe this. But anyway, she did a solo podcast. She does a lot of solo podcasts, but this one was about specifically helping people over there. She has strong roots there. So I will share the link for her podcast. It's about 20 minutes that you can give a listen to, and also share the resources that she shared. Base Camp, this big Facebook group too, has put a lot of resources there. So I'm going to share some of those in the show notes as well, in case a lot of you are like me and don't have a strong connection or roots there. So you're not sure what's real, because that honestly can be a problem in these situations, is figuring out what organizations are truly doing what they say they're going to do, or who needs the most help. Where does your dollar count most? Anything you want to know about that, I am going to do some research and put in the show notes. So like I said, if you do have that $5, $10 to donate to anything right now, I would strongly encourage you to check out those resources and donate to helping these folks there. There's a big contingency. I'm not sure if that's the correct word either. Pardon my definition, but of outdoor industry folks in that area. I'm not sure if a lot of them will be affected, like who are going to the Outdoor Media Summit, if they were in the hurricane and now cannot go. There's plenty of other things happening in their industry and world too. People who've lost their homes, their jobs, all that. But we're largely an outdoor industry podcast. So if you are listening and you're a brand, I'm sure you have heard people preaching about this for a while now, but send whatever you can, if that's apparel, gear, supplies, money, obviously, anything like that. But our outdoor industry friends and just friends in general over there need a lot of help. This is something that will take them a long time to come back from. It's really hard to wrap our minds around it being so far away. So just again, look some stuff up, and just use that human compassion in you to know that if this ever happened in your area, that you would rely on people from elsewhere to have that compassion and empathy and show up for you. So let's show up for each other, because there are so many ways that our country is failing us. So unfortunately, without getting too political here, like we have to do that ourselves. We have to be the ones to pick up the pieces because we cannot rely on the higher ups, the stronger entities with power right now. And that's just truly what it is. So, yep. If you've got those dollars, anything, go ahead, please look at the show notes and donate to some of those organizations. One of them, anything. There's animal rescues, all sorts of ways. So, kind of talking about the Outdoor Media Summit, switching the subject just a little bit out of that is it is next week. It is Monday, the 14th of October through the 16th. So a couple full days of panel discussions, a lot of connection with outdoor media, outdoor brands, all of that. I wanted to share some goals that I have for the Outdoor Media Summit with you all because I feel like speaking these into the universe can kind of hold me a little more accountable to reaching these goals or at least working towards them. That's why I've tried to lean into writing a lot more, getting these things out, speaking them, like I said, into the universe instead of just keeping them in my little mind here, to just get it out there, make sure it happens. And because of so many of you that donated, I also want you to know kind of like what this is all about. What are your dollars going towards for me going to this event? Um, one is okay, so I think of myself as a pretty balanced mix of an introvert and extrovert. I think I obviously lean one way or the other through certain times of my life, as I think most of us really do. But I can thrive in a group of people. I love, helping putting on events. I love attending events and whatnot. But then I also can really retreat into my own little cancer crabby shell when I do these things like on my own. So at the Outdoor Media Summit, I will be there on my own, representing the podcast and myself. And I get a little worried that I will not take full advantage of the event, of being there, of being around all these people, because I might do that little crabby thing and just show up to the events, the talks I want to hear, and then just like scurry away, not have the conversations that I want to have. One of my biggest goals is to just network as much as possible. I want to connect with folks outside of the panels. I want to meet new people to have on the podcast and to just simply connect with, have these like foster real connections. I have been using LinkedIn a lot lately and it's been great. I have connected with a lot of people through LinkedIn. There's not that much opportunity to meet these people in real life. So I need to use this event to do that. So I want to, again, just foster these relationships. Networking is like king. So just meeting people and creating relationships, you just never know who is going to tell someone else about this or that. So you have to talk about the things that you love, the things you want to do. As I've gone into this like freelancing journey too, that's one thing a lot of folks talk about in growing your resume basically is tell people exactly what you do, what you want to do, because you never know when they might be in a situation that your name gets brought up. You'd be perfect for that. So, getting woo woo again, trying to manifest all these dreams and visions I have, I need to speak them into the universe. So, connecting with people who may have connections past that is what I need to do. I also want to make sure I am talking with and meeting with the people I already know, whether I've met them in person or not. I mean, I've just interviewed them over the podcast or had the pleasure to meet them in person too. I want to make sure that I am having some meaningful time with them, meaningful conversations. They don't have to be hour-long conversations, but what I tend to do is the like quick hello, I hate small talk, so let me find you at the most inconvenient time to say hi, drive-by type thing. And these are the times that I'm convinced I'm an introvert. I'm just like, am I so fucking awkward? That's why I hate small talk. Like, what do we talk about? How's the weather? How's your dog? Like, how was the plane ride? How was the train ride? Whatever it is. So I just want to make sure I'm reaching out to those people who I know will be there. And like Meg Carney of the Outdoor Minimalist and Forever Chemicals, I know she's going to be busy. She's actually speaking there. Heather Kelly of Heather's Choice, she's going to be there. Again, I don't want to just do a quick hello, hi. I want to make sure that these people know I do care about them as well. I care about their businesses, what they're doing, and the whatever kind of relationship we have. It's not just for to grow my business, not just using these other folks as leverage. Like, I want to be truly connected with them. I also want to make sure I'm getting some photos and videos. I still am so bummed I didn't get a photo with Heather Kelly when we recorded in person, or good video, because of the way the office was set up that we used. As I mentioned, I'm also kind of over the social media thing and want to have a break from my phone. I want to live in the moment, all that. But said also largely a content business. So I need the content. And hello, this is the Outdoor Media Summit. It's perfectly acceptable to be taking selfies, doing videos. And yeah, I do get embarrassed like doing that stuff in public, because I don't want to just be seen or thought of as like another silly, like quote unquote influencer. Um, but I got to get over that. I got to get over what the fuck I think people think or care about, because again, it's about me, what's going to help me, and if that's it, that's it. I'm going to be that person. Not all the time, but when the situations call for it, like at Outdoor Media Summit. So if you're listening and you're going to be there, get ready. I will get a selfie with you if you've been on the podcast, or I want you on the podcast, or if I'm just super excited to meet you. Okay. So there's your warning. I'll ask you first, all that kind of permission type thing. Um, Outside of the summit itself, I want to enjoy the drive there, and like I said, the time outside of it. So I am going to drive there. I am going to take 2 days. It is quite the haul to do one day, about 14 hours with stops and whatnot, which I'm like, yeah, I could do it. But why? Why? If I have the time to not do that, why wouldn't I? I always complain about how I never have the opportunity to like enjoy the time around these types of events. I've worked a lot of events and retreats and things that have taken me other places, and I've just done the event, done, and that's it. Traveled there, done the event, straight back. Like no time really outside of it to have some fun. And I'm over my narrative of I don't have the money to do anything. I don't have the money to take an extra day off to drive around and see something. I don't have the money to stay at a hotel an extra night or camp somewhere. I don't have the money to go whatever, do something. It's always been that. And yeah, my financials are, they've never been in the best situation. I'm not like, I don't make a lot of money, and you don't have to make a lot of money to be in better situations that I'm in. But regardless, is I'm just over that story that I've told myself for so long. I can have fun and enjoy things without having to like, have endless amounts of cash or something, and taking the 2 extra days on either end of the trip to drive is not going to kill me. It's not going to change much. And I just want to enjoy fucking life as well. I have this opportunity to do a drive I've never done before, to see places I've never seen before. I'm tired of putting that stuff off. Like, I've been so many places and haven't truly gotten to taken them all in. So I'm not doing that anymore. I'm 36. I'm going to take advantage of some of these situations. So I'll be driving. I'm stopping in Twin Falls, Idaho. Um, I might bring my paddleboard. I was thinking about my bike because I have an Airbnb, and so I could bike around Missoula, like bike to the summit and every day, and just yeah, use that as transportation. But I know I won't really use it outside of that. Like, I'm not going to go look up some mountain bike trails and go for a solo ride, because I haven't been biking at all. It's just not where my comfort level is right now. I just know I'm not going to do that. So paddling feels like the safer bet, something I'm more likely to do on my own and for a shorter amount of time. Easy enough to throw in my truck and not have to worry, because I can close my tailgate cover, bed cover, whatnot, or put it in the cab. So I don't have to worry about like locking my bike up or leaving it hanging out of my truck or all these other little things. So if you have any recommendations of some good paddling spots between Tahoe and Missoula, let me hear them. Um, I also haven't spent like any time on the water this year, so it's a great opportunity to explore new places and spend some more time on the water because, as I've already talked about my little Cancer soul and my little crabby self, I need the water. We all need the water. But yeah, so I'd like to do that, enjoy Missoula, check out some cool places there, and maybe even some surrounding places. I don't think I will be able to go too much further outside of Missoula, like that's in the direction away from Tahoe. But like I said, if there's any spots between Tahoe and Missoula that you recommend I check out, let me know. Um, I don't know. I'll have, like I said, 2 days of driving that, obviously the way there and the way back. So basically the beginning of next week and the end of next week. Give me all the info that you have. Even if that's like great little coffee shops or breweries or restaurants, literally anything. I hate looking up like things like on Yelp and whatnot for the best coffee or beer. I just don't have the patience for it, so I'd rather just hear from people straight up. Anyways, so those are the couple quick updates, some goals that by speaking them out loud to you that I hope I can stick to and force myself to do, because I know when I do kind of events, if I'm with a friend, I can also tend to not go outside of that, feel comfortable enough like, oh, I don't need to go talk to so and so, I'm busy talking with my friend, or we both might be feeling that introvert, so then it's really working against us. When I do things solo, I do have more of a chance of pushing myself outside of that like comfort zone. I can tell when I'm starting to feel inward and get a little nervous or scared or self-conscious or whatever it is, and I can and push myself a little bit. But if I'm with a friend, I feel like that energy, we start to put it off to each other, especially my kind of go-to folks, and we both retreat into ourselves and like, so just go off and do our own thing, which I love those experiences so much too. But there's times I have to make choices of, do I do this by myself or do I do this with somebody else? What do I need out of this? And like I said, I know I just push myself out of my comfort zone a little harder than I can expect anyone else to. So I am, yeah, just hoping that I do actually do that, push myself out of the comfort zone when I start to feel that way. So subscribe to the YouTube. Stay tuned for updates of the Outdoor Media Summit. Maybe I'll do some lives. I'm excited to meet Mallory, a viewer, in person and check out the universe. She hit me up about a little happy hour kind of get together. So I'm excited to meet some more people too through that. And overall, it will be a great experience. I'm so excited for it. And I'm so excited to be able to share with you all what came from it. And like I said, during the time, give you some updates on the road, at the show, and on the road again. So here is the next portion of this little solo pod, the value add that I'm trying to give you all. But again, it's something I've thought about doing for a long time, little solo kind of tidbit Tuesday type things, but this is a regular Thursday that you're listening to this podcast. But I want to give you some like gear tips or reviews, or I don't know, maybe even it's just a list of kind of a few of my favorite things that you might not have in your closet already. And maybe you're looking for something to fill that gap. And I can give you, again, my recommendation on this to have that tried and true, trusting feeling. Again, it's hard to read reviews and know that, like, okay, this person gave it a 5 star, this person gave it a 1 star, but like, the reasons can be so silly for the bad reviews that you're like, what? Like, it just doesn't fit you. That, and you're giving it a 1 star or whatever. Anyways, um It's going to be pretty quick. Just a couple of my favorite fall items that for I think a lot of you really will get you by well into winter, obviously depending on where you live or where you're like getting out and about. But I'm going to start with shoes. So, two of my favorite shoes. These both I used last year through fall and winter. Um, I have my Danner Mountain 600s. So, I trust me, okay, if you've read Wild by Cheryl Strayed, these boots were like on the cover, the tan Danners with the red laces for fucking ever. I was like, no, I'm not even getting close to that boot because after that book came out, especially after the movie came out with Reese Witherspoon, all these people flocked to that as the best shoe because, they whatever, saw it on her book or whatnot. And I have to tell you too, this might be an unpopular opinion. I didn't really like the book. That book kind of pissed me off. And that was one of the points in one of the books I read that was like, I need to write my own fucking book. This is crazy. Now I'm sure I can have a lot more appreciation for it now, and be a lot less judgmental. But at the time when it came out that I read it, it annoyed me because I was like, this woman made so many fucking mistakes. Like, she just went out and did all this shit without knowing anything, put herself in so much danger and bad situations. Like, how is this and why is this now inspiring people? Why are all these women now thinking, like, I can do it too, and not getting the right education? So safety is one of those things that has always been on the forefront of my mind because I've been a guide in many different places and doing different things. So being a guide, you're always going through safety courses and whatnot. It's your top priority to keep your guests safe. It is something I've also been raised around with, like hunting and things. Not hunting myself, but my dad being a hunter, like learning about gun safety. And it's been, like I said, in the forefront of, yeah, I'm accident prone, shit happens, but I still know what to do in situations and try to prepare. Yeah, I'm sure I've done plenty of things unprepared, but my point is, it pissed me off how many people were just like, "Oh my god, I'm going to do it too." And then I'm like, no, you were really dumb, lady, about taking these chances and doing these things. And I couldn't stand the boot. Anyways, we sold it at the store I was working at. I needed a boot. I tried it on and I was like, "Wow, these are comfortable." I'm eating all my words and I'm getting the boot. So I have worn them around my place lots of times, as you all have probably heard too. Only one of you out there in the world has experienced it. Okay, maybe three. But the hill that I live on, the simple walk from my little trailer down to a trail, is it could be rough terrain. It's a dirt road, a steep dirt road. And in the winter, I live at 7,300 feet, so snowy, icy. I mean, it's not even the winter, it could be late fall. Anyways, these are waterproof boots. They are not insulated. They do have an insulated version. I run pretty hot, so I got the non insulated version. Also, where I live is not incredibly cold in the grand scheme when you think of places like Montana, Wyoming, even Colorado, that can get pretty darn cold. We stay above freezing a lot of the time, at least during the day. And if not, it's like, high 20s or something, which to some of you may seem like you're crazy. That's still cold. For me, what is cold is like the teens and under that when you are properly dressed. That is. Obviously, 20 degrees will be cold when you're not properly dressed, but when I'm being active, can stay warm. I sweat. So I want something that can wick that away and regulate my temperature a bit more. For me, that's an uninsulated boot. And it's more versatile for me. I can use it a lot more often throughout the year. For instance, now in the fall, through winter, and into the spring. So what I do is I throw some traction on the bottoms when it is a firmer day or icy day out there. There's so many different kinds. I use the Snowline Chain Send Trail Light. They're super light. They go in a pocket easily of a backpack, so I could take them on and off when I need them. But they slide. They've got some stretchy rubber that goes over the foot and the heel, and then the bottom, it's like a chain. It's like a chain for your tire, but you put it on your shoe so you don't slip. So those are great to take out if you're going on hikes and whatnot, um, on dirt trails. I love the chainsin because it actually has some like spiky type chains to get into the ground to give you traction. There are some that are more like a studded tire that just have little studs on them. Those are great for things like paved trails, sidewalks, whatnot. When you're out in the icy morning run, it can even just be a walk or whatever, dog walk or whatnot. I've had to put these things on just to walk the dogs down the freaking hill. But so those are my more winter go to or cold weather go to. I generally don't do a boot, but these are a lower boot. They're just above the ankle. So I've been loving them. I have a little bit of a wider foot. I wouldn't say it's wide, but my pinky toes can be the cause of some problems in a particularly narrow shoe. So the Danners have given me plenty of room for that. So that being said, if you do have a super narrow foot, they may not be the boot for you. There are a few things you can do to fill that space, luckily. But if you have a wide foot, there's not much you can do to take away that space. So just keep that in mind when you're shopping for any shoe, boot, ski boot, snowboard boot. You can fill space, but it's much harder to take the space away. So if you're crammed just trying a shoe on in a store, don't do it. Just don't. Don't. Go for a wider option and find ways you can fill the gaps in the heels and whatnot if you need to. All right, next shoe is the Oboz Catabatic. I've talked about these plenty of times too. A couple different options here as well. They have a mid, so coming up over the ankle, and they have a low. I have the low for this. This is like my year-round shoe. I've used it for biking. I don't use it when I'm actually on single track. I use my mountain bike shoe because it has better grip. But when I'm just riding my bike like to town or doing a gravel ride, I've worn this shoe because it's not as stiff as my mountain bike shoe. And I like that. I'm not going on terrain where I need that grip on the pedal as much, so it's been fine. They do have a good grip and they stick into the pedal, but again, it's been great. It's nice and breathable. It has been my general kind of walking, hiking shoe. It's what I ruck in. If it's not cold and I don't need my Danner, I can also throw my traction, my shoe traction on this as well. They have a Catabatic Wind, which is a lighter option as well. I'm a fan of both. I've only tried the Wind on. I have not like used it, but judging by the Catabatic, I would say, and from what I've heard from people I know who work directly with the company, obviously they're a little biased, but um, they can wear them all day. I've worn them all day long at events and been comfortable in them. So that's the thing. I've got a lot of versatility with this shoe. Can wear it on a hike, a bike, a walk, or just like working on my feet all day. So also has a little bit of a wider fit. Again, not super wide, because I wouldn't say my foot's wide. You can tell it's wearing out where my pinky toe is on my right side. So that tells you it's not overly wide. Um, yeah, those are my two options for hiking in the fall and winter. I was hesitant to say just hiking, but I know a lot of you do hike out there. But yeah, great walking, hiking shoes. And that kind of leads into pants. The next thing here, I just have a couple options. One is more technical. You've heard about them before. You've heard the CEO on the podcast, Georgia Grace from Nara. So the Nara Go There pant. It is a great technical pant. I don't usually like wearing like technical stuff hiking. I just wear a legging a lot. But these are awesome because they have great pockets, full hand fitting in your pocket, and the Go Fly technology where you can unzip down the middle. They have this special zipper there where you can go to the bathroom without having to take your pants down. So, for me personally, this pant is something I would prefer on a longer hike. On a short hike where I probably don't have to use the restroom, they might not be my first pick, but on a longer hike, again, where I want that more technical features, where you can pull them up with an elastic. Like you can either cinch them up for a crop or roll them up and button them, so you can wear them a few different ways. Also, the material is going to be a lot more durable than your average legging. So if you think you're going to hike off trail or you're just through a dense trail, then these pants are great. And also, like I said, being on a longer hike where you might have to use the restroom, especially in a populated area, these are amazing because you can use that zipper, that special zipper down the middle, to go to the restroom and be discreet. Your full butt is not out just mooning the world. So I would highly recommend checking out those pants and giving those a go. The next pant is not so technical. This is more of a casual pant, but also a work pant. You all know I love Dovetail. Many of you also probably know I am an ambassador and have worked directly for them. But all that to say, I genuinely love their stuff. I love it and use it. I would not be recommending it or be an ambassador or work for them if I didn't truly love it. To be totally transparent, I am not working with Dovetail anymore, but I am still an ambassador, and the link that you would click in the show notes is an affiliate link. Like I said, I tried and true love these fucking pants. I've got two pairs actually. The new shop pant in the magnet gray. They are so soft. They're so soft. They're a washed down denim. You can wear these as a work pant. Obviously, it's a workwear company. They're meant to be worked in, but they don't look like a work pant. They don't have a double panel knee. So these, of all the Dovetail pants I have, look more like a regular everyday pair of pants. They're thermoregulating as well. So meaning you can wear them in a hotter climate and they're more breathable. You can also wear them in a cooler climate and they'll keep you warmer. They have some elasticity in the waistband. I sized down a full size in these, just a heads up. That is the biggest gripe I have with my Dovetail is sizing can really be dependent on style and material. So I would recommend for sure though in this pant sizing one size down. Like I said, so soft on the outside, your true Dovetail pockets. They look cute. I roll them. They do only have a 32-inch inseam, which for me, I like a long pant. I'd prefer a 34, so I roll them mostly. But these are a great casual pant. Wear them to work, I guess if you work in a casual place, not an office. And you can also go outside and get some chores done in them. The second pant is the go-to pant. So this, if you don't have any Dovetail yet, for whatever reason, maybe it's cost, you're not too sure if you want to spend that, try something different. The go-to pant is where you should start. This is a price point friendly pant, meaning it is, I'll double check, I believe $60 retail. Double panel knees, so it does look like a work pant, but that's all the rage these days. People are into wearing workwear as casual wear. I'm one of those people. Super comfortable though. I put these on and I fell instantly in love with these Dovetails. They are really stretchy, as are the shop pant, but they fit me better than my Mavens have. Yeah, $60, 59. So 4 different colors. So they also only come in a 30 and 32-inch inseam. I roll them a lot when I'm wearing them casually, but I just love sliding them on to go out, do chores, and I've also worked the bar in them. They are missing some of the key features of Dovetail, but that's because they are that price point pant. So they're meant to kind of get you in, let you learn about the brand, give things a try, and then you realize that you do need more. Like the gusset, the crotch gusset. These do not have a crotch gusset. They're still super comfortable, super stretchy. I can, fully squat and move in them, but I love a crotch gusset. I love not having that seam there. And yeah, just a few other little things that you would notice that are not in like they don't have the same things as like the Brit Utility and Maven X and things like that. But like I said, if you don't have any Dovetail and you're not quite sold on it, I would start with the go-tos, and that will just open your mind up to everything else. On top of that, speaking of tops, are some of their new items too. So again, this is largely because these are the newest items I personally have bought for the fall. The Flagger Fleece hoodie from Dovetail and the thermal trucker jacket. I haven't gotten to wear the thermal trucker jacket yet, like actually wear it and try it because it's been too hot still, but the fit is great. I need a long sleeve. I could use a little bit more on the sleeve, but because of the mobility in the shoulders, it still doesn't feel too short. I'm not constricted in the shoulders. I can move, I can have my hands in front and drive without my like the jacket being bunched up in my armpit or anything. So, love the fit so far. Haven't got to really try to use the Flagger fleece hoodie, just a comfort piece. I love a long fit too for tops. So it's a little bit shorter. It's not a crop, but it is shorter from my usual liking. It's about at the waistband, maybe a little bit longer. But I still love it. I think it's super cute. The front pocket, the pouch pocket, has a little pocket inside where you can lay your phone horizontally. So that way, when you bend over side to side, your phone is not sliding out of that pouch pocket. Just a cozy casual wear. But again, it has those dovetail features that you could do some chores in it. It's got some reinforced elbows, some reflective. Oh, got to check on the items. But yeah, so your double reinforced elbows there, that little phone pocket, a couple said usual go-to beautiful, thoughtful features. Right now, I think that's all I have for you on some gear. Again, these are just items that I have tried and, they're tried and true to me. I've personally used newest items in my closet. Coming up next will be the Ewer Treasure dress. I just could not wait to record this to get it. It's supposed to get here Thursday, the day this is released. So you better believe that I will be giving you a full review on that, as it will be in a lot of use through my outdoor media summit on the road trip, and just wearing it throughout Missoula. I apologize to all of you there who maybe that's the only thing I wear, but I'll get to go to the Ewer headquarters. So if I need another color, at least I know where to get it. But I'm just thinking about my work from home days too, and having that as basically just my new uniform. So give you guys a full update on that, as well as some other gear as I get more. So the only thing in this that I will receive any kickback from, again, is just the dovetail. But if you've been following this podcast, you know how much I truly, truly, truly love them. Anyways, guys, like I said in the beginning, this is going to be short and sweet, but turns out it's not. It's 52 minutes. I rambled that much. I hope some of you are still here with me. And for sure, please leave me feedback on what you thought about this solo episode. Too long, too short. I doubt it's too short, but too long, boring, whatever. Skipped through. Let me know. Let me know if I should do it again, if I should keep them to 30 minutes, what you want to hear from a solo episode. Give it to me, man. Give me the hard shit. I'll take it. I will take it. And I'll try not to be sad about it. I might be a little bit, but I'll get over it. I promise. So tell me your hard truths. Please, I need it to make things better for you, because this is, in the end, for all of us. I want you to be happy listening to this podcast. So if you're still here, thank you so much for sticking with me. Again, please, please, please leave the reviews. Let me know what you thought. And talk to y'all soon. Bye. We hope you enjoyed this episode and would do us a huge favor, since we don't have any sponsors or anything like that, and would rate and review us on whatever platform it is you use, Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, whatever it is. And if you're listening and downloading just through the website, tearingituppodcast.com, leave comments. We'll definitely engage back with you. And on social media right now, we're just on Instagram. Tearing It Up Podcast is the handle. Like the post, share the post, comment on the post, whatever it is you got. Show us your love so we just stay relevant and show up in the rankings at all. So again, rate and review, please. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.